All right, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Vanakkam என் உயிரினும் மேலான இனிய தமிழ் மக்களே. This is your host, Venki, with today's edition of Southern Spice, the only Tamil program on FM and AM radio in the New York, New Jersey tri-state region. Only on Radio Zindagi, 1310 AM in Parsippany, New Jersey, 96.7 FM in Edison, and 540 AM in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area. My show comes to you every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And we've been doing this since 2004, so it's about 20 years now. And currently, we are also live on Facebook and YouTube on Southern Spice USA channels, also on RJ Venki group in Facebook. So you can watch us on all of these platforms. Put in your comments, your suggestions, and always your feedback is welcome. All right, so இன்னைக்கு சதர்ன் ஸ்பைஸ் நிகழ்ச்சியில் என்னடா தமிழ் ஷோன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய இங்கிலீஷில் பேசுகிறான்னு பார்க்காதீங்க. ஏன்னா நான் இன்டர்வியூ பண்ணுறவங்க எல்லாருமே வந்து they come from non-Tamil speaking background. So I'll have to keep this in English, and it also serves a larger purpose. There's so many more people who are able to benefit from watching these interviews. Like I said previously, we've been going through a series of trailblazing youngsters, pretty much high schoolers, in America, who are doing something very, very different from the normal, from the ordinary. And in that series, right now, we're going to be speaking with Reema Adusumilli. Reema is based in Atlanta, and she is trying to, turn pain into purpose. Basically, her mission is to raise awareness for scleroderma. And scleroderma is a condition, and this is Reema's inspiring story of advocacy and hope. So without further ado, let's bring Reema onto the screen. Welcome, Reema.
Hello, Venki. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak with us in Southern Spice. It's very exciting to have you. So yeah, go ahead, introduce yourself very briefly and tell us what you're passionate about, Reema.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reema Adusumilli, and I'm a high school senior from Cumming, Georgia, that's interested in the medical field and passionate about making a difference in the lives of scleroderma patients, a disease that my mother has been bravely fighting over the past 3 years. Therefore, it has become a mission of mine to hopefully find a cure one day. When I'm not working towards the day where we can find a cure, I love watching and playing sports, specifically basketball and cricket. I also love to travel, which has allowed me to understand different cultures, perspectives, and their ways of providing healthcare.
Super. So, Reema, just for the people who don't know, and that's probably 99% of the population, what is scleroderma?
Yes, Venki. So scleroderma is an autoimmune disorder that brings about inflammation in the body. Symptoms include thickening of the skin, fatigue, and even Raynaud's phenomenon, where the patient's fingertips lose color and turn blue. It's a disease that only impacts about 100 to 300K people in the US and impacts both your physical and mental activity and lifestyle.
So only about 100,000 to 300,000 people in total get affected by scleroderma. So
in the US.
In the US, but there could be a higher number globally.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Okay. So how did you get into it? What inspired you to advocate for scleroderma?
Yes, so when my mother first got diagnosed with scleroderma, I was filled with fear and what would happen next and how our lifestyle would completely change. As time went by and I researched a little bit more about what scleroderma actually is, I knew something needed to be done for more people to understand what my mother and patients like her went through each and every single day.
Super. So then what did you come up with? What was your idea and how did you execute on that?
Yes, so my mother and I, wanting to do something to advocate for this cause, came across the National Scleroderma Foundation that takes place in the US and is based out of Massachusetts. We saw that the foundation had options to donate, learn more about scleroderma, and even initiate a stepping out walk. And when we saw the impacts that the walks made on the people, we knew we had to take part in this.
So you just initiated a walk which would raise awareness about scleroderma.
Yes.
Okay. So that helped you work with different people in different backgrounds, just by doing this walk. after that?
I'm sorry, you cut out in the last bit.
No, I was saying, so what was your experience like? So working with people of, different types, different backgrounds, different age groups, uh, that you met during these walks.
Yeah, so planning the walk in general was extremely hard, that's for sure. You had to gather sponsors, think about how the event agenda is going to be, gather supplies, and all of these different things. So, since it was hard to focus on these things, we needed a committee of people where we could work together and talk about how we can make this event special and memorable. We would meet once every few weeks to catch up on certain things and plan the walk, which really helped us keep track of what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So overall, it was a very difficult thing, but working with so many different people really helped the experience come to fruition.
Okay. So this whole experience, Rima, for you, right from the time that you learned that your mother had this condition called scleroderma, and to reach out to the organization, the Scleroderma Association, and then to initiate this walk, um, and then going through the process, right? How did this whole experience change you or mold you, and bring you to the stage that you are at right now? And you're still, you're just still a high school senior.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so the experience made me realize that my mother and her family weren't alone in this battle. There were
mhm.
others who were going through the same thing, maybe even worse. And this walk really allowed me to talk with these people and communicate with them how life was like with this disease, which gave me a lot of insight and understanding of what my mother was facing every single day. This experience made me a lot more patient and calm when it came to my mother, and it allowed me to realize the importance of understanding her properly in every situation rather than quickly getting into silly arguments.
Silly arguments is common among teenagers, right?
Yeah,
Especially with girls and their moms, they're always arguing.
yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So with this whole experience, the entire process, do you have any standout moments, memorable moments that that pop up in your head?
I think for me, the most memorable moment has to be at the walk towards the end when a woman walked up to me and asked, "How could I start something like this in my area?" The woman explained her fight with scleroderma and how she also wanted to make a difference in her community. And being able to share that information with her on how I took a part in this walk and how this event came to be was extremely amazing. And I could look forward to more people taking this up and impacting it in a wider range, which really allowed me to see the impact that the walk itself had made.
Terrific. Now, are these walks recorded? Is it on camera? How do people get to know that there's a walk
So
happening?
yeah, so the National Scleroderma Foundation, you can sign up for their newsletter, and they always have they have different regions throughout where you could sign up to be a part of one of their regions, and you get emails from them depending on whenever there's a walk nearby them. They'll get an email, and you can sign up for the walk and take part through it. Yeah.
Super. So obviously, with all of these, and I ask every youngster that I talk to, are there any challenges you faced? Typically with a family member affected by this kind of a condition or a disease. Uh, how did you face any challenges growing up in that kind of environment?
Yeah, so my mother was diagnosed around the beginning of my high school career. So it was definitely difficult in terms of navigating my way through school and extracurriculars without her full support. As much as she wanted to, it was just hard to be able to be present all the time with her appointments, work, and fatigue from all of these things being piled up on top of her. And even when something was tough at school, I would conceal it from her as I knew how much she already had on her plate.
Yeah,
It was a lot harder to understand each other in these certain situations as we all became more fatigued, which led to even greater arguments, even though none of us were necessarily at fault. But all of these began to subside as I took part in research that I did about scleroderma through a professor from the University of Central Florida. So that really helped me understand more and embrace these challenges and get
Wow.
past.
So you started doing research about scleroderma through a professor from the University of Central Florida. How did that connection happen? How did you reach out to that professor?
Yeah, so there's this summer program. I searched up summer programs at specific universities in my area, and one specific one came up that would be taking place at the University of Central Florida. And I could see that there was an opportunity to research with one of the professors there, specifically the professor of neurology. So I took this opportunity, I applied for the program and eventually got in and got to spend 2 weeks in Florida at the University of Central Florida, learning from the professor and getting to learn more and more about scleroderma.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this research, and what are your key takeaways from the research that you want people to understand?
Yeah, so this research, I did it over the summer. It took me, I think, I want to say around 3 weeks where I was just focused just solely on that research in Florida.
Mhm.
And by the time it got edited and completely published into an actual journal, academic journal, it took about a few months, but we eventually got it done. And I think the key takeaways from my research would be that scleroderma is a hard disease.
Yeah.
Patients can be extremely different from when they're diagnosed and complete opposites to their true selves. So, however, no matter how hard it may be, as a family, we must be able to support them and understand them through the pain and fatigue that they go through. We have to be able to stand as a pillar of support for them, no matter what. And when it comes to being cured, there may be, there may not be. But what we have to keep doing is aiming for that to make sure that there is a cure one day and make sure that scleroderma doesn't impact the person as much as it does today.
Got it. So obviously, the awareness about scleroderma is still kind of limited, right?
Mhm.
So, so how do you think that can change? How do you want to make it more, uh, you know, want people to be more aware of it?
Yeah, I think the main reason for that is because it's such a rare disease. You know, when you only have about 100 to 300K people in the US, which is a very big country in and of itself, diagnosed with it, it's extremely hard to find people in your area that are
Mhm.
that are going through the same problem you are. So another, and I also believe another reason to it is because not a lot of the youth know what scleroderma is. Believe it or
Mhm.
not, the youth are the ones that will make a difference in the future and now. And the more the younger population understands this disease, the more it will be spread amongst the masses, in my opinion, because they really know how to take it forward. And that is why one of my main goals as I head to college this next year is to create a National Scleroderma Foundation chapter at the college I attend so I can spread the word and garner more attention to what scleroderma is all about.
Do you have an idea where you're going to go?
Not yet. I'm still looking at some colleges. I'm still waiting for some colleges to come back. So once
Nice.
I
Okay.
get an answer from all of them, I'll be making a decision.
Good luck. Good luck with that process. I know that could be a daunting process, right? The
Yeah.
applications, the essays, and so many different things that go into getting an admission. So yeah, wish you the best. So if you could tell our listeners one thing or just a few things about scleroderma, um, just so they can succinctly understand what this disease is, what would it be?
I think if you know someone that is going through this specific disease or any autoimmune disorder for that matter, whether it be arthritis, something like lupus, or anything like that, I would just say go and give them a hug. You know, if you know someone who's dealing with it, go ahead, give them that hug. Ask them if they're okay. Talk
Right?
to them to be able to understand how they're truly feeling and make sure that you're in a state where you're able to understand what they're saying. And after that, it comes to making an impact. It doesn't matter how old you are if you want to make an impact on something. It only matters about putting your forth effort and bringing that change to reality. And I believe that's what I did. And from that experience itself, you can learn so much. And I believe not just about a specific disease or about medicine or something, but rather about life as a whole and how beautiful it can be with the people that you're around.
Wonderful. So Reema, so scleroderma although it is, there are very few people compared to the larger population. Is there a cure, or what is it still research in progress?
It's still research in progress, which is why it's so imperative for people to understand more about the National Scleroderma Foundation and their efforts to finding a cure for this disease. Unfortunately, it's not happened yet, but with the foundation with trying to raise more awareness and raising funds through these walks and everything, I feel like one day we definitely will find a cure, and that will definitely be something that I aim for and the whole foundation aims for in the future.
Okay, so it's called National Scleroderma Foundation, right?
Yes.
And people can just look it up online and they can find more information about it.
Mhm.
Okay, great. So just taking a small segue out of the serious topic, what are your other hobbies, other interests? What do you like to do other than academics and this scleroderma research?
Yeah, so a big part of my life is sports. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved playing sports, and it didn't matter what sport. I would literally play anything and pick up things really quickly. But one of my main ones are definitely basketball and cricket. I started playing basketball at the age of 8, and I've been playing since then. Before I tore my ACL and I had to stop playing basketball, but I still play it in my free time. So I still love that sport a lot. And when it comes to cricket, it's just something that me and my father share in common. We love watching it, we love playing it, and it's always entertaining to talk with him about certain cricket players, games, and all that. So that's what I like doing in my free time.
So you play cricket in
I
Atlanta?
do not. I do not. But I'm always down to play a little gully cricket any chance I get.
That's very cool. Um, so you are going to go to college next year, and you're still in the process of applying. Are there any go-to colleges you have in mind that you really want to get admission in?
Yeah, so being from the Atlanta area, obviously, everyone's goal here in Georgia is to get into Georgia Tech. And I'm happy to say that I have gotten into Georgia Tech through early action recently.
Mhm.
So that is definitely on the top of my list. But I'm also looking into other BSMD programs specifically for medicine. And if I do get into one of those, I think I would probably be leaning towards those as well.
Very good. So we have a budding doctor in the house. Good luck to you, Reema. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us about scleroderma. And you know, in a small way, if we can help spread the awareness, very happy to do that. And I hope to have you back on the show one more time, maybe after you go into college and you start that association in the college, the club in the college, and love to hear how that is going.
Definitely. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and good luck to your mother, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Venki.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was Reema Adusumilli from Atlanta, Cumming, Georgia, basically. And what a path-breaking kind of research she's doing. And obviously, it comes from the fact that someone in her family, like her own mother, has been diagnosed with the disease called scleroderma. So, whatever way, if you're watching this show, please spread the word, please spread the link, send it to more people, and get them to look at it, watch it, and spread the awareness about it. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you again with another episode of Southern Spice with another interesting youngster in this series. So till then, take care and happy holidays.